Oh, no, no. It's a little bit more. I guess they didn't have to describe the plot of Phantasy Star 2 because it is kind of done here. But again, this does like omit the detail of this just because that computer was really mad at your party in particular that day. So this game also like very much features that like farting robot Genesis sound, but this makes it work. So there's our backstory, which is again mostly just like a summary of what happened in 2 and since 2. Also, just gonna point out real quick, if you remember where that came from. So, a problem that earlier games in this series have, this game does not, is the walking speed is just kind of through the roof. Which I appreciate. That's just a really cool little vista there. A lot of like indie RPGs have just like stolen this scene right here directly as a little tribute. So, one thing I have to point out about Phantasy Star 4 is, well, okay, normally it's called chat, but I'm weird right now. This right here is like the most innovative menu option in RPG I've ever seen. Just have your party members talk to each other about what you were doing last time you checked. Okay, this flips the buttons from the previous couple games. To where they should be, honestly, but... Yeah, look at that! Look at that luxurious walking speed after that last game. Just flying across the room. So yeah, we have our two characters at the start of Phantasy Star 4. And oh yeah, this is like the big thing this game had going on. When it first entered into development, the plan was to release this on the Sega CD and have like full-on anime cutscenes constantly, as was the style at the time. But this was late enough into the life of the hardware that they realized that nobody's buying that thing. So what they did instead was they just made the, to that point in time, largest cartridge anyone had ever made, file size-wise, and filled it with these, like, manga panel things here. For 4 major plot points, and I find it a really distinct and cool look, honestly. And the game cost $100 in what, 1997 money? 6? Back when everything still cost 50. And also before a lot of inflation happened, so you know. Kind of a pricey thing. Again, like, it's just a really cool stylistic choice. It's also worth noting that I think there's been more, like, expository dialogue already than is in the entirety of Phantasy Star 3. And the, you know, awkward localization that was seen in a lot of these games doesn't seem to be an issue here. Like, this is... a nice, charming game. Lots of things to look at. Lots of things, if you're so inclined. I really, again, love the, just, like, progression of time across the series. Where we got really, really high-tech, and then, like, you know, civilization got largely destroyed, because, again, 2 is kind of a downer. These are the sample size, right? Okay. And also, this game is made of back references to the first game. That's the guy who built your spaceship for you. Kind of a cute way to get your major exposition out of the way. Yeah, ignoring the aberration that is 3, because again, it doesn't count, it's kind of interesting looking at this series, where, like, the first game was this, super ambitious, effort to just get, like, a real dedicated game on a frankly failing console, which, but not to quite the same degree as the Genesis, but like it did better in the West than in Japan, the Master System. And it did amazing in Brazil, of course. But yeah, they were really struggling to keep that afloat when they made the first Phantasy Star. So it was kind of like one of the best games ever made, but really, you know, just left out to die on hardware nobody cared about. Phantasy Star 2 was a launch title for the Genesis. It came out in 1989. But the thing is, it came out before Sonic the Hedgehog, so it had both the earliest game of the generation issues and also the nobody had this yet. And then this came out like at the tail end of the life of the Genesis, where, you know, it was very, very expensive because people were moving on to CDs, and they just opted not to do that with this one. And like the next hard generation was about like, just around the corner, like within a year, I think. And then, you know, the same creative team later went on to make Skies of Arcadia that came out like right as the Dreamcast was dying. And it's just like some of the best RPGs there are, just, you know, the tragedy of the timing of all of it. Anyway, we're just extorting this nerd so we can to join our party. And now, of course, I have the proper talk command. This gets updated like constantly, anytime there's any sort of change in like plot progression. And it's a great way to both just like remind yourself what's happening if you haven't played in a while. Such a good soundtrack too. But yeah, it's a good reminder of what you're doing, and also it's just a nice way to like, you know, add more characterization. So this game finally, I think, is back up to like the level of visual polish that the first game had on older hardware, and we are once again playing around with like not wanting to give the attack command to 5 different people. So what we have here is these macro slots where you can program each one to whatever you want. And then, you know, people just do these things. So, I'll just hit macro A. Or if I want to just, like, you know, individually give orders, I can do that too. There's a slight advantage to doing that, oddly enough. Because part of what the macros save is the order that people do their stuff in. And you will notice, I think it's the agility stat, 15 for her, 7 for him, 4 for him. By default, that's where they attack in. So what happens if I pick macro A is that Alice, who would normally go very much first, delays her turn until after Chaz. And there's like some randomness too, so this isn't like a perfect system, but like that can be a problem in some cases. But there's also like combination skills, kind of like Chrono Trigger had, where if two people use, like, you know, I use this move, you use this move, you use this move, and those happen back to back, they'll do a cool little combination thing. And you kind of do want to, like, intentionally delay that to the end of the round to make sure that, like, a monster doesn't go between and interrupt it. Or, you know, if you don't, like, care about the nitty-gritty that much, just hit macro A all the time and just auto-fight. It'll be fine. This is the other reason why I have Alice in front, though. Boomerangs in this series hit in a line. Such a good soundtrack. series like always tried to keep combat snappy, which like I mean even the first game really by just not having you pick your target speeds things up quite a bit like that. It's a game that is not interested in wasting your time at all. And consequently, like this is also in the grand scheme of things one of the shorter RPGs out there. I think like 20 to 30 hour range, which is kind of where I want them personally. Things just gotta move at a really brisk pace. And like a lot happens, but it happens very quickly. Much like this walking speed. Another kind of interesting this game has going on is that of our characters here, Han is clearly just kind of like the temporary last party slot character. So you can't like re-recruit him later on in the game. Chaz is very much the here's the doe-eyed kid who just joined up, and Alice is the more experienced veteran. But also, they never really say it outright, but they hint at it increasingly often over the course of the game. Alice is just the main character from the first Phantasy Star, just, having, like, done the cryogenic thing or something to survive for 2,000 years and just be this kind of bitter badass, which is neat. Changed the spelling of her name slightly. One thing's a little bit annoying is that this game, if you are on the corner of something and you hit towards it, you will just kind of smoothly circle around it, which can be kind of annoying if you like want to look at something right next to you. So I did heal everybody up. Heal everybody up. Yes, yes. Okay. Here, we can actually use some abilities. Weird combo system. We have regular attack. We have techniques, which are the standard spells from early in the game. And then we have skills, which are this alternate, like, spell slot-based ability selection. These are very standard for both the character and the series. These are very individualized. And they're, like, separate pools of resources, too. Also, I missed the original game calling the spells like heal, help, fire, wind, buy, chat, instead of this nonsense. This, I believe, is a buff, though. Let's see what this does. Ah. That makes sense, I guess. And that's just a fire spell. That is, I think, a defense buff. That's offense. And just a big, hard-hitting attack. That is the restore spell. That is whatever that did. I wasn't paying attention. Oh no, I have to set those out of combat. Never mind. We got curse memory going on though, so I can just mash through it regardless. It is nice to be able to use the other macro slots for stuff like I'll just regular attacks for a second. Oh, never mind. But yeah, if you have like your, your like start of the battle buff phase that you want to have, where I'm going to cast this defense thing, I'm going to have And yes, yes you do. Get these defense spells out, gonna get, you know, the big strength buff on the main attacker, all that. You can just have, like, your setup macro, and then your I'm gonna cast all my biggest spells macro, and then, like, my I want to make this combo attack thing come out, definitely, so let me just, like, front load somebody with low agility, and then set all that up, so it definitely will come out. It's a neat little system. And another one where I'm surprised it never, like, really caught on. Even something that 2 has of just, like, program your actions and then execute is kind of nice compared to, like, a lot of games with big parties. I guess it's not quite like D&D spell slots because it's, like, per skill. And they go up as your level instead of, like, you know, your level 1 skills and whatnot. But yeah, it's basically the same idea. It's also kind of nice because, like, you know, like your basic MP stuff you're gonna be using all the time. Like, get my healing spell up in here, and then your fancy special skills, like, those have their own dedicated resource to them. So it's like, I will have my special buff skill here when we get to a boss because I'm not going to use that specifically on something else, and I should be a little bit freer with your MP spending, or TP, really. A point is made later on. I might actually get to that point, because, like, this is a really good game. I actually might play it for a while. But, yeah, the one character you meet who has actual magic, it's as a skill, and people really freak out, because apparently, like, the res technique is just, like, knowing first aid. Or something along those lines. And it's therefore a really important distinction. Anyway. Mission complete. Very, very simple starter dungeon. Pay us, please. And again, I love little manga panels. It's such a good way to tell a story. I also appreciate that, like, Alice has that very, like, Lena from Slayers kind of vibe going on. Those are some excellent shoulder pads. And I also love the solution to, like, you know, front loading a bunch of money of just, oh, we're just extorting the hell out of this one guy at every step along the way. To make sure we can, like, you know, properly bankroll just getting good starter gear. I still love how fast this movement is. He has roller skates on, practically. Also, when I say that the like chat command gets upgraded and updated constantly, I mean constantly. You can hit this like every 5 minutes and get something new. Unless it's like a dungeon, I guess, but you know. And I do like that, like, Chad has a comment about, like, everything. I don't remember there being much in the way of, like, you know, finding hidden objects in people's shells, but, like, constant commentary. Most of it unique. Except for the cabinet thing. The cabinet thing's always a cabinet thing. I think it's like a good group energy. You have basically like Lena from Slayers hanging out with Phoenix Wright, essentially. Sorry. I think they finally found like a good mix for these map screen sprites. It looked a little rough in the other Genesis games in terms of being like nice small characters that, you know, you can scale things to appropriately, but like a good level of detail on them. Also, people like walk at different paces, which is kind of neat. And I don't think anybody is exactly the same height as anybody else either. It's kind of nice with how little space you have to work with. Okay, well, I guess those two are... No, he's like got 1 pixel on them. Yeah, like, very, very charming game. Oh, all of them. Okay. I believe this went back to... Okay. I thought for a second that this did the thing the first game did of letting you save anywhere, but no. Something else. There's a shop of some kind. Yeah, I'm good. Guess I hit the end. Did fight a boss, did use some spells up. And it's cheap. Anything in here? Not really. Okay, so back out on the trail. I forgot where to go. Just hit the talk command. Alright, this way. Revolutionary. And yeah, the backgrounds are really nice. They didn't go time after they went like full screen painting for him. Which is again why this game cost $100 when it first came out. Aw. All these Velma looking people. And there's like constant commentary the whole way through the game too about like just the natural state of the ecology reasserting itself, which is kind of neat. Here we go. Yeah, remember, this modernized things a little bit. A little bit. Wrong button. We are still in the state of having to put things manually. We have nice little, here's going to be your stats thing. Oh yeah, those are one-handed, so... up, and I guess you can hold one of these old hunting knives for now. No armor for the temporary character. Oh, did I already have that? Seriously. Whoops. Some of my money back at least. We do have limited inventory space, so you know, ditch all junk. Haven't gotten to that time we're talking about. Okay, didn't quite update yet. Never mind. into like the custom animation for having Boomerang can there. Again, references to the first game. And some people say, oh no, it's not Sinker. Just like, they make it very, very obvious that it is. Of course. Okay, once again. Everything's just so snappy. Well. Great, sure, close another town. Trying to work through the wrong turn. Fortunately, I'm back up here. Han is, of course, dying. One of the funniest names for it I've seen. Is it kind of stiff? So something that's a through line for the whole trilogy is there is a character in the original Phantasy Star whose name in Japan is Lutz and was changed to Noah in the original localization, which is confusing because then later they changed it back and there's a dungeon called Noah. But it looks kind of like this. And then in 2, you run into him and it's like, oh yeah, I preserved myself with this cryogenic thing to be around for advice in case anything bad goes down in the future. Again, not quite the same character here, but there's this whole like memory transfer thing, so basically same character here, as eventually revealed. But the other thing that's interesting is in the original plan for the first Phantasy Star, when it was like in development, Lutz was going to be gender fluid, and there'd be this whole like time skip thing partway through the game, and like based on how you treated them would be like how they present later in life, which is really freaking progressive for like 1986. And they did change those plans and didn't do the time skip thing, but like then they did make a active point of not using any gendered pronouns for them in the final game, or alternating them in the localization of it. That's just fun. And again, they aren't like stingy with the manga panels here. Like they vary them up quite a lot. He's of course very tall with like very big strides. And just a straight up wizard. Who has again, if we mentioned the localization more, consistent, but yeah, his skills are just the spells that said character had in the original game. And not a lot else here. So what are we doing, people? Fairly linear world, though, so if I keep wandering in a direction I should get where I'm going. Hopefully let me get some town or other. Get this whip standing again. Some plot advancement. Yeah. I guess there's more open than I remembered. This feels like progression. Okay, let me get my casting real quick. Man. He's being very insistent. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, meow. Let's go. Lead the way. Getting back into it here. Don't super love where my HP is right now. Is it okay? No. Okay, that's actually not too bad. But I am cutting a little bit close to the healing here. Act. Oh, I forgot to look at items. That's handy. I definitely should have had a chance to buy some better armor before I came in here, because these are hitting hard. Yeah. But again, I am sloppily going through a bunch of games, so if I die, I die. It's fine. I'll also use my good spellcaster here, who is fullest. Okay, it's fine. So first of all, desperately need an inn. Actually, we'd like to do the church thing, because it's not a thing anymore. I think it's not a thing anymore. Yeah. I'll experiment. Okay, people are no longer dying. So this town is fun for a couple reasons. First of all, the soundtrack's great. Second of all, we got the native Otavians here. Just the little cool blue beak teddy bear people who rather famously in the original Phantasy Star, you just show up as like random, enemies, and you can attack them if you're some kind of monster, or you can just like say hey and just use the talk command that exists in that game and get little hints from them, important hints even sometimes, and skip the fight. Meh. And like I said, they were just flat out not present in the second game, possibly for reasons of like the local environment being really, really bad for their health and needing to hide somewhere. And here you got a whole town full of them, because they're making a comeback. And they're great. Absolutely great. Little Ewok guys. Wait, did you make the cake shop joke? Yes, you did. For those who don't know this, the original Phantasy Star at one point has a point where we just have one of those, like excuse for a dungeon plot points of you want to talk to the governor of the entire planet of Batavia, because it is a big colony, and you aren't allowed to talk to him unless you like bring him a fancy gift. And it's like, well, he likes cake. So okay, well, where can you get cake? That's a good portrait. Okay, there's some better armor, finally. Gonna fix that real quick. Hey Chaz, what's the worst thing is you don't die so often. That is a significant bonus. I'm back soon. Overshot it. Look how fast you go. Wrong button. Because it was like flipping the last couple games. You know what? Best defense is good offense. Let's give you a couple nice, proper kitten slashers. It's such good portraits. I would never. As was the sound at the time. Quit reading ahead, Rune. We have new party member. Let's have a little chat with him. Yeah, just like constant up-to-date updates on exactly what you're doing. And he's got a big ol' axe. And has skills named Bros and Crash. Which, you know, you get some idea what his deal is. But the important thing is, what's your agility? There's still a custom animation for that. Meow. We're not actually switching to recreate, that's good. Oh. Oh, right, the armor I didn't buy. Well. This might actually be a decent time to stop. I'm not going to play the whole game right here. I also may have forgotten to use the inn. No, I didn't. No, I saved it, but still. Yeah, wander back out of here. Properly save it, because I don't know. I might grass play tonight and come back to this one. Now. See, it's not quite like modern Final Fantasy levels of just step on the gas, don't worry about shopping, but it's close to it. We've now seen most of the characters in the game. They get introduced pretty quick in rapid succession. There's also 2 robots, a couple of other spellcasters. I think that's it. People kind of get cycled in and out here and there. And very much like Skies of Arcadia, you kind of have like most of your full party at the end, and then one like wild card slot where you can just kind of pick which of your friends you want to bring back in. That's neat. But yeah, just really, really solid RPG. Big fan. And I did save it, yes. Oh right, no, it is. Okay, yeah, you said start. That's right. You can save anywhere. Okay. Been a bit. I got a little rusty. So yeah, Phantasy Star 4. It's fantastic, but it is a game that is really improved if you played the first 2. Because again, like everything is a reference.